So,
Hey,
hey,
I got an intro.
let's do it.
Okay.
You feel good now?
I feel good.
All right.
Let's go.
Okay, go ahead.
This is Brooke.
And this is Nikki.
And this is Brandon.
Hey!
And this is my so-called whatever.
Welcome to the block party. We're leaving out nobody.
Yay!
Yeah! Woo!
That was awesome.
That was amazing.
That's how you get it started.
That's how you get started. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. You ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
Let's get this party started. Let's get this party started right. Let's get this party started quickly, right?
What
Nobody.
happened this week? Last week, I guess, actually.
Yeah.
Joe.
He released his dates.
The solo Joe dates.
And I was too slow for Joe.
Joe is also on the other side of the country.
That is the truth.
That's too bad. You know what? When he finishes his move,
Yeah.
he should have some dates over here. We'll go.
We'll go? Okay.
We'll go. I'm there.
My heart was a little low.
I know.
Because all of that also happened while I was trying to fly.
Right.
And, I just didn't know what was going on. I'm like, what happened? They're releasing tour dates. What's going on?
Like, they're releasing dates and they're selling tickets.
And we didn't even have time to, talk about it. And
no. And they sold out
I know,
that.
which is amazing for him. I'm so excited for anyone who got tickets. Christine, I'm talking to you. Because Christine, she tried to get them, then she couldn't.
Yes, there was some drama with that. And
Yeah.
she got them.
She did. She got them.
Charlene's going too.
Yeah.
And they're going to have a great time.
Right, because Christine she got 2 tickets.
She had a VIP too.
And she got 1 VIP for her. Yeah.
That's amazing.
So she's going to be meeting them. I'm selfishly sad, but happy for her. Because I'd really want to see her meet Joe.
I know, she's never met Joe.
Really want to
really
see
wish
it.
that we could be there.
But I'm not going to be selfish.
Oh gosh, no.
I'm so happy that
we're
she gets to
excited
meet
for
him.
her.
Yes.
Super pumped.
Yes.
And it should be really good. And guys, anybody that goes, that sees him,
Yeah, please.
send us pictures.
Well, it says no cameras, no video.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't look that deep into it.
Yeah.
Well, then send us a story about it.
I guess.
Tell
yeah.
us what
And
he
if there
did.
are any pictures taken, we'll look at them.
Do composite sketches.
Oh, hey, yeah, courtroom sketch.
Yeah.
Bring your paper and
Bring
watercolors.
your drawing pad. And
Can you imagine? Quick.
And yeah, but we can't wait to hear about the shows, and it's all very exciting.
I know.
It was an exciting week for.
I really would have loved to
Joe
go
girls.
though, but I think I would have been a little emotional because I'm pretty sure he would have sang "Stay the Same." Pretty sure. One of these days he's gonna sing it, and I'm just gonna
Maybe on the cruise he'll
melt.
sing it.
I'm just gonna melt.
What's that on the floor?
That's
that
Nikki.
puddle there?
Puddle and Nikki.
That's Nikki. She's
Yeah.
just a puddle now.
I'll just put my head down. Do you like my T-shirt?
I do.
Christine encouraged me to buy this.
I very much like it.
It says, what does it say?
If lost, return to Jordan, Joey, Johnny, Jonathan, or Danny.
I also got a record player, and I got some NKOTB
You did
vinyl.
your record player.
We listened to it tonight. A song I'd never heard.
It reminded me of the 80s.
Yes, I like the little ticks and the
I love
little
the sounds of vinyl.
pops. Yeah,
I sound like a hipster.
you do. But it does. It has a definite sound. And
Raw.
this record player, it plays cassettes too.
Which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is.
You got a good deal on that.
I sure did.
So, way to go, TJ Maxx.
Oh yeah, TJ Maxx clearance. I watched that thing like a hawk. I went in there almost every day.
Did you really?
I really did, because I wanted it so badly. There was only one left.
I'm so glad that you got it.
Me too.
So we could listen to Valentine Girl on it.
There's not a star in the sky. Sing it.
I'm not going to sing it.
Would equal to
That's a very hard song to sing.
sparkle in your eye.
You did a pretty good job, though.
Did you like that?
Yeah, I did.
All right. So we have a very interesting story.
We do.
Very interesting from a different perspective. The
It's
husband
unique.
perspective.
It's very unique.
Yeah.
And I think that,
Think you'll like it.
yeah.
And then you might consider, like we were just discussing, what if our husbands went on the cruise?
Probably won't happen right away.
No, but maybe next year.
But it would be really cool.
Yeah.
And
Just as long as Carson Daly's not there.
just as long as Carson Daly's not there. And I'll tell you what, if Shannon Elizabeth is there,
Whoa. You have to hold Kevin back.
he'll be like, sign me up, take all my money. For Pete, Mila Jovovich.
Eh.
If she were on that boat, he would be like, see ya,
Hey.
Brooke. I'm getting on that boat. So,
So here we go.
let's read it.
All right. So my first cruise was the 2016 cruise from NOLA to Cozumel. I agreed to go with my wife only because I'd never been on a cruise before. I was a Marky Mark fan, not a New Kids on the Block fan. My wife was a diehard fan, and when the group got back together, I started sending her to concerts and after parties and such. But the elusive cruise was more than my stomach or my wallet could handle. I had heard about the cruise enough and decided I would pay for 2 cruise tickets and task my wife with finding someone to go with her. She gave it 0 effort. I mean 0. As we got closer to October, she told me that one of her friends would take the ticket, but couldn't pay for it. I thought, no way. If I'm paying for this cruise, I'm going on it. Needless to say, I wasn't really looking forward to the cruise in the same way that my wife was. I wanted to enjoy the food and other aspects of the cruise. As a matter of fact, on the first day, after standing for what seemed like 3 hours at our muster station, we were then stuck out into the hot sun for the sail away party. That lasted another hour or so, and I was already done with the screaming women and the new kids shaking their butts and lifting up their shirts. However, Donnie mentioned the men on the cruise, and I respected that. It was as if he was letting everyone know that it was okay to be a man on this cruise, and I appreciated that immeasurably. My wife then forced me to stand for 2 hours on the Lido deck for the evening party. It was purple night, and I wanted to make sure my wife had the full experience, so I went. It was that night that I started to appreciate the New Kids for being a group of guys who are entertaining their fans. As a man who loves to entertain, I really felt like this was something I would have done. Later in the evening, Donnie saw me spitting the lyrics to Jump Around by House of Pain and brought me on stage and made the DJ start the song over. I took that opportunity to try to elicit some entertainment from the crowd. After that, I knew I'd never miss another Lido Deck party. I think it was the engagement with the fans and the fact that they looked like they were having such a great time that turned me a little bit. It was the last night of the cruise that sold me on Donnie Wahlberg when I watched him hand parts of his outfits to fans. That's amazing. And literally carry a woman from her wheelchair on stage. That was it. I knew I had misjudged this man completely. As a general perspective, however, I enjoyed the parties and the loud fanfare, but I truly think the opportunity to be entertained by a world-famous band while traveling to an exotic destination with a boat full of people who are ready to party really makes the cruise exciting and fun. If you're someone who never has gone on one of these cruises, it's difficult to put into words. I love the atmosphere and the sense of family among the fans. It was something I had never experienced anywhere before. It was amazing. I would recommend it to anyone who enjoys a party. All right, so now we're going to hear a little bit of history. You going to read this part?
I'll read this part.
All right, move the microphone over a little bit. There you go.
There we go. I officially became a fan on the 2016 cruise. I had long listened to NKOTB because of my wife, and secretly I would sing along under my breath. That soon turned into me learning the lyrics and singing along at the top of my lungs. After the cruise, I finally went to my first New Kids on the Block concert, the 2017 Fenway Park concert. I have to admit, it was more about reuniting with other fans than the concert. That is until the concert started. I'm a huge Boyz II Men fan, and I loved seeing them live. I was never really a fan of New Kids on the Block, so I had no idea what to expect. I wasn't disappointed. It was so much fun, even with a torrential downpour. It wasn't the intimate setting like the cruise, but it was certainly a good time, and I felt like I was special because I had a chance to meet Donnie, having been on the stage with him a few times.
So Brandon's been on how many cruises?
2.
2? Okay, so
The last 2 ones.
and 2017. Okay. Did you want to read the next piece too? About his favorite cruise
Favorite
moments?
cruise moments?
Yeah.
Absolutely. He wrote, I think my least favorite moments are the moments where people are unkind to each other. There was some pushing and shoving, and I didn't like that. I really can't think of anything else that was troubling. If you're not the kind of person who can handle being jammed into a small area with hundreds of others, you may want to look for other places to stand during the Lido Deck parties. If I'm an expert on anything, it's that the band loves interaction. If you want to get a chance to get on stage, sing along with the songs and keep your eyes on the guys. If they see you and you're engaged in the song, they might call you up. If you look like you couldn't care less what's going on, you're not on their radar. On a personal note, I'm really excited to share from a new fan perspective. I really appreciate you giving me an opportunity to do this.
You forgot one little piece.
What?
That right there. Favorite cruise moments. Oh, nope. Nope, you forgot nothing.
Thank you.
You forgot
I'm
zero.
like, wait a minute. I think that's not it.
All right. So, without further ado, as we say,
Yes.
we're going to have Brandon on, and we're going to talk about all kinds of fun stuff.
We're excited.
Maybe some Twitter talk,
Yeah.
social media talk.
Yeah.
He likes to sing. He's a good singer.
You'll have to tell us all about it.
Yeah, here it comes. Hey!
Good evening. Try to keep it formal.
I'm excited to have you on.
I know.
Well, I'm excited to be on. It's like I feel like a minor celebrity right now with you guys, just like hanging out.
Hey, so I'm Nikki.
I'm Brooke.
Really?
Well, sometimes people ask, they want us to, I guess we sound alike?
I don't think we sound anything alike.
No.
I'm going to be honest with you. I can pick the two of you apart easy.
Yeah,
So,
Brandon. All right.
I think we have like a totally different vibe too.
I think so too.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely.
Totally different.
Like I get I have these like high pitches when I get excited. I'm like
It's like it's like the cat at the concert.
It is. It definitely
And
sounds
I'm
like
just
a cat.
like, meh, meh.
You're just like, whatevs. You're like
What
Daria.
is?
I am like Daria.
You are
sort
like
of.
you are like Daria. Yeah, kind of.
I mean,
So before we came on, we read your story. And we have to say, we're really excited because this is a whole different perspective.
I love this. This is great.
Yes.
This is huge.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I really want to. I kind of want to talk about it too because I want to share a little bit about it because it's actually been kind of neat going through the process, if you want to call it that. So hopefully you can hear me well.
We can hear you. It's spot on.
It's wonderful.
Crystal clear.
Yep.
You sound
All right.
great.
Hey, thanks.
You actually sound like you're a radio personality.
I was going to say, you sound like a radio guy.
I get that a lot, and I appreciate that. As a matter of fact, I've been thinking about maybe I missed my calling somewhere. I should have maybe had a career in radio instead of financial services. But I'm okay with it.
You could always moonlight.
And you could always do a podcast
You could
on
do a
financial
podcast.
services.
Hey, see, we're learning today too. Look at that.
I'm going to tell you right now, I know my husband would sign up for that. Sign him up. You want to talk about finances? He's all about that.
Ain't none of that, mister.
So we would love to hear you said you have you'd like to talk more about the story. So we'd love to hear that. So we're going to just let you free flow. You go for it. I'm ready to go. Are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
Let's get this party started. Let's get this party started right. Let's get this party started quickly, right?
Thanks, Freedom. Thanks so much, Freedom.
Yes.
That was CNC Music Factory, ladies and gentlemen.
That it was.
Yes.
I appreciate that very much that you totally knew what that was.
Oh yeah, no, I dig on a lot of your vibes when it comes to the lyrical stuff because you guys just like randomly like connect parts of your conversation with music lyrics, and I love that because I do that on the regular. My wife and I, we speak in movie lyrics. I mean, movie quotes, song lyrics. I mean, it's how our whole family communicates, and it's amazing. I adore it because it just adds so much more. It's like a whole nother dimension to the conversation when you kind of like link up with somebody like on a completely nother, like a whole nother level. So it's really cool.
I love it.
That is
Absolutely
cool.
love it.
This is how we do it.
That's how we do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is how we do it.
Oh my goodness.
Sha-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. I have to do that. I know that's not the way that it goes, but I've always sang it like that.
That's okay.
We did a whole episode.
Yeah, we did a whole episode just on that, and it stayed on the cutting room floor.
It sure did. It'll probably remain there.
We were like, redo.
Somebody hit the reset button on that one. All right.
Oh yes.
All right. So what do we want to talk about? Get it going.
I want to hear more about your fan experience we talked a little bit about your cruise experience, but I really feel I want to connect more on you being a new fan, because I think that that's a really unique thing. And there are a lot of new fans that we found, which is amazing.
I'm gonna concur. Here's where I'm at on the whole thing. So let me just press rewind real quick. Take it back to like circa 1992.
Oh yeah. I'm feeling you.
So here I am. Winding my way through the high school hallways, and there is this girl. You know what I'm saying? And it's just one of those things where your eyes lock onto somebody, and the minute you see them, the air is vacuumed from your lungs. You know what I'm saying? It's that type of thing. And I was just like, oh, who in the world is that? I need to get to know that young lady. So, and that's how I met my wife. Amen to that, sister. So, so basically we started dating in high school, and she was a huge New Kids fan. So needless to say, when I was prior to dating her, I used to, and I'm going to apologize in advance. Okay. So please do not hate on me, because I'm a reformed person now. Okay. But I despised the New Kids on the Block. Could not stand them. Hated them. And I think it was more of, and again, being frank here, more of a jealousy thing.
Yeah.
I was in choir, and I sang, and I performed on stage, and and then all these girls that I had interest in, in middle school and early years of high school, were all like, "Oh my gosh, New Kids! Oh my gosh! Oh my god!"
Right.
And I mean, you guys know,
Joe, we totally know.
So I was just like, whatever. Who are these guys? These Boston kids? They're just a bunch of ruffians. They don't know anything about anything. They're, whatever. So totally prejudged every one of them without knowing a thing about them. And and I'm accepting of that, and I apologize in advance for it. But nonetheless, that's where I stood. And when I started dating, she's now my wife, but at the time my girlfriend, she she was a huge fan and had all the memorabilia. She was one of her most prized possessions is an original 1989 Hangin' Tough tour jacket, which she still wears.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah. It's one of her prized possessions, and as a matter of fact, she had it on the cruise. One of the guys, I don't know if it was Jordan or Joey or one of them, was like, "Oh, this is like authentic," It was crazy. I was like, "Yeah, that's the real deal, buddy." So, but at any rate, so I had to deal with that, but it wasn't too long after we started dating that the guys kind of, as you know, went their separate ways, and so that kind of put things on the back burner for a little bit. Fast forward to 2008. 5 children later,
Wow.
Now I guess we're married for 20. She and I are officially 21 years married this year, or just this past year, December of 17.
Wow.
We've been together for 25 years.
Wow.
And yeah, I like that. I count that as an accomplishment and an achievement.
That is amazing.
Yeah, I like it. But when the guys got back together, she said she was like elated, and she broke out all her CDs and VHS tapes, and I was like, oh boy, here we go. I thought I had escaped this, So, secretly, okay, and very quietly, and she would just pummel me with day after day of Hangin' Tough and games and all of these albums playing around the clock, and I'm like, oh Lord. And then I started to be like, hey, I kind of like that song.
Yeah. Yes.
And I had always been a Marky Mark fan back in the day, and so Donnie makes a few appearances on the original Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch album. It was a Donnie D production, if you didn't know. And
because Donnie D's on the back up, drug free, so put the crack up. Sorry, I had to get that in.
right. Actually, he has like a little breakdown in a song called "Peace" on there. I don't know if you're familiar, but he actually he tears it up. It's pretty good. He's got the flow, but you already knew that. So at any rate, so we started. She started doing this, and I just started to listen to the songs, and I started singing along with them. And before you know it, I found myself driving in my car by myself listening to the New Kids on the Block,
I
and
love it.
I felt like there was a bit of guilt there, I was like, man, I've always made fun of these guys, and I despise them, and I was jealous of them, but I mean, this is neat. I mean, they had like Lady Gaga on there and Neo and all sorts of collabs, and I was just like, wow, this is really, really cool. So of course, she wanted to go to every concert as soon as tickets are on sale. Oh my gosh, I need to get tickets. So I was like, okay. So I would just spend the money, get the tickets, spend the money, get the tickets. And then, the VIP, there's an exclusive after party thing that you could pay extra for and meet the guys. And I was like, all right, whatever makes you happy, let's just do it. And,
I like the way you think.
I know.
Well, I've learned after now 25 years, but I've learned in my time that, if mama ain't happy, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody happy.
Hey,
So
I know what
That's
you're
true.
saying. I know what you're saying.
I hear what you're putting down,
Yes,
and it's 100%.
100%. That's why Kevin's like, hey, you want to go? Sure, because guess what?
because if you're anything like my wife, when you come back from a New Kids concert, it's a very happy time.
Oh, it is very happy. It is.
I didn't bring any cakes today, so I apologize. There was no chocolate or vanilla or marble or all three. So
Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
That sounds so good.
I know.
Everybody's got to have cake,
That's
know.
right. We're kind of on cake detox right now
Yeah.
because Christmas cake.
Hey, who are you preaching to right
Yeah.
now? My New Year's resolutions are they're hanging tough. No pun intended.
Yes. I think I need to start the new year over.
I'll tell you what, I'll do a New Year redo.
Yeah.
Well, somebody told me every day is day one. So no matter what you did yesterday or 3 days before, you can always go. Today is day one. You can restart today
that.
anytime. So never forget that. I've
that.
held on to. You're welcome. Use it. No trademark there. At any rate, so we started doing we started running the concert circuits, and I started really enjoying the music, and I didn't really get into the older stuff just because it was like, well, that's the kiddie stuff, and I want to hear the new, drop it to the floor, baby, get raw. I mean,
Hey,
Donnie's.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. But see, I could relate at that time, and I couldn't relate when I was younger, but now I can relate as a grown man. And give me some grown man. So, just all of these things were coming along, and I was like, man, this is actually really good music. So, then, kept getting hit about the head, neck, and chest area with this cruise thing. And it's like, oh, the cruise, we got to go on the cruise. We got to go on the cruise. I'm like, the cruise, I get it. Concert tickets, couple $100, easy peasy. But, start getting in the cruise tickets, we're talking in the thousands, obviously.
Yes.
Where you are and how many people and, overnight stays and travel and yada, yada. And, so we talked about it, and I just could not bring myself to do it. And then, of course, I got laden with guilt again, trying to make sure that everything is done. And she's, my wife, and I'm not trying to make this about her, but she's a trooper. She's mothered 5 children.
God bless her.
For
God bless her.
Oh, God bless her. Yeah.
real. For real.
She's had to deal with me for 25 years. Go with that piece of cake again, because I'm not a piece of cake either. But it's that type of relationship that we've had throughout the years that has put me in a position where I'm like, I love to see my wife happy. I love it. I enjoy when she's happy. When she's happy, it makes me feel complete. So I was like, you know what? I just got to do it. I got to get her on that cruise, but I'm not going because there's no way that I'm going to put myself onto a boat with thousands of screaming New Kids fans. Not gonna. I had never been on a cruise before, but the prospect of being isolated in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico, as it were, with all these screaming ladies, and my wife had told me some horror stories just about the concerts. I could only imagine what was going on that cruise ship. So I said, you know what? Here, happy birthday, happy anniversary, Merry Christmas, Happy Valentine's Day. It's all wrapped up in one. This is the shebang for the year. And this was 2016. I got you on the cruise. She was like elated. And I was, that's great. Glad to hear it. Find somebody to take my spot. I'm not going. I just bought the tickets to make sure you had two, so you have somebody to go with you. Because they were leaving out of New Orleans and they were going down to, Cozumel. So I said, well, just do what you need to do. And as I intimated in my story, she gave zero effort. The word zero, I think it was negative effort. I literally think she was like, listen, tell my husband that you don't want to go. It's just that would include anyone. And I was like, this is crazy. None of your friends, all these New Kids people her cousin, everybody, all these people that she wanted to go to concerts with that went with her to concerts, they drove hundreds of miles to go to these concerts to see him 2 nights in a row because, oh my gosh. And I was like, nobody's going to pony up and go on this cruise. And one of her friends finally called me and was like, listen, I want to go, like really bad. I'm like, okay, great. Well then, by all means you can go. And she's like, but we really can't, work out the money piece. And I'm just like, and I'm a charitable guy, but I just couldn't fathom sending my wife on a cruise that I paid for. And I'd never been on a cruise before, but I just was like, you know what? I think I'm just going to take her. And the only reason I really wanted to go at that point was because I felt like we were so close. There was going to be a name change thing and more money. And I was just like, you know what? Forget it. Yeah. I'm just going to go. I'm going to go. I'm going to belly up to the bar, be a man about it, and just take her on this cruise. So we got onto the boat. We drove down to New Orleans. I'm again, where I live. So it's a 16, almost 17-hour drive.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah, well, I've done crazier things, but
that's a crazy drive.
Yes.
Wow, that's.
We've driven to Orlando from Maine.
Oh yeah, I didn't.
No, we did.
Yeah.
Well, Kevin did. no one trusts Nikki driving. So
that's okay. So we got down to New Orleans. We got onto the boat, and I had no idea honestly what to expect. I was there simply because I wanted to experience a cruise for the first time, and I figured there's got to be stuff for people who aren't like super fans to want to do. There's got to be like a show, or maybe there's like a really great buffet or something. There's got to be something there for the average Joe guy to do. And I got on, and of course we checked into our room, and it was hot that day, and I was just not feeling it. And of course we had to do the muster thing, which was a whole new experience to me. Mm-hmm. I had no idea they were going to take everybody on the boat and pack them in like sardines along the side of the boat and make you just stand there, because it just wasn't the most comfortable situation, of course. Well, after that was over, then of course there's the sail away party, so everybody's bum rushing to the Lido deck to see the guys finally. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll snap a few pics, see what's going on, and then we'll just head to dinner or whatever. Of course, I didn't realize that the sail away party was going to be like an hour of, so by this time, I think I had a minor sunburn on my head from all the sun. I was so upset, and I just was like, you know what, this is just, you've been, so the experience, but
actually we haven't. We've never been on the cruise.
No, oh my gosh! Wait a minute. Hold up.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. We're hoping that we're going to be on this one.
Right.
This is going to be our first one. Yeah.
You got to claim it, ladies. You got to claim it.
We're going to be on it. I don't want to jinx it, though. Like, if there's a room for us, we will be there.
You will. Well, at any rate, it's the you guys are fans, so you understand the concept. You come out, and these guys are, it's a very intimate situation. There's a lot of people, and they're like, everybody's kind of butt to butt and belly to belly. I mean, everybody's there, and the guys are just doing all sorts of crazy stuff. They're talking in the microphone and taking their shirts off, and it's just a nut, it's crazy. So, of course, again, being a guy and not really a fan, that really wasn't all that appealing for me. I mean, I was like, okay, you guys, good for you. More white pants for you. But,
more white pants.
Yes, bring me the white pants.
I know. So, nonetheless, and of course I got, then I got to get all the lingo down too. I got the marshmallow and, all of these things. I'm like, what the hell? What are we talking about, this marshmallow business? So, and I didn't know what a BH was. Like, what's a BH? Donnie had a B and an H spray painted on the back of his jeans one night. I was like, what's a BH? So my wife had to give the whole lowdown on everything. So now I feel like I'm okay with the lingo now. I think I've got some of it. I don't purport to be an expert, but my blockhead credit score is slowly going up. I got some good payment history there. So
I would say it's pretty high. That's what I would say.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
I appreciate that. So at any rate, so after the sail away party, we went and had dinner, and this is 2016, so this was not this past year, but the year prior, and that night was Purple Night. And there was the tribute to Prince, and and it was a formal situation. So I wore a nice purple shirt, and I just tried to look nice. And again, if you've ever seen pictures of me, I'm a big guy. I'm a beefy dude. Unfortunately, I'm working on that, but I wasn't working on it at that time. So I was a big dude. So we're sitting there, and I'm just trying to stay as close to the stage as I can to keep my wife as close to the stage, because being a big guy, I kind of create a fullback situation where I'm kind of like her shield, so I can kind of get her in position and then keep her there.
I can relate.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I'm a tall girl. I could play football. Like, I'm not a small girl, so.
And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Anyway, we won't go there. I appreciate that. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. I can totally relate to this. So.
No. Well, as this party is going on and the guys are crowd surfing, and I'm just like, wow, this is really good now. But the music was getting to me, and I was like, okay, all right, I can get down with this. It's a party, and I'm okay with that. I'm a party guy, so I like to party. So at any rate, we had gotten to a point where they played Jump Around by House of Pain. That
very good song.
That is my jam. That is literally my jam. So I'm like, yeah. So I start spitting. I'm just like, going at it hardcore. And Donnie is trying to get the crowd wound up. And I don't have any video of this, but other folks in the crowd had taken some video and shared it with me later. But I can see him look around, and he sees me. And I remember this vividly. I remember looking at him on the stage, and I'm sitting there going, and he looks down at me and sees me just flowing. And he was like, stuck the microphone out and was like, come on up here on the stage. So I was like, okay. So I grabbed the mic, because I'm not afraid. And so I started doing it. And he told the DJ, he's like, no, cut the song. So he stops the song. I climb up on the stage, and he says, he takes the mic from me, and he looks at the DJ, he says, start that shit over. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I allowed to say that?
Yes.
We have explicit lyrics. You can say anything you want.
I'm not trying to be. I want to keep it as PG-13 as possible.
Hey, no, you're good.
So he's like, start that shit over again right now. And then he just thumps the mic in my hand. And I'm like, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I don't really, I'm not here for anything. I'm just here to party and have a good time. I'm not like the rest of these folks. But it's slowly starting to feed into me. This is Donnie Wahlberg. This is Blue Bloods. This is, cinematic dude. He's been on, movies, and I mean, he's an accredited guy, and he's part of. I mean, let's call it what it is. New Kids on the Block, for what you want to say, fan or not, it's a world famous band.
It really is.
They're
Everybody knows. If you say, I mean, not everybody, because some of the younger crowd that I work with, they don't know who New Kids on the Block is.
Yeah, they don't.
They will know though. After this week, they will know. But anyway, like
They know that they were here.
right. That is exactly right. They will know. So no, but you say New Kids on the Block, and no one's ever like, oh, I've never heard of them before. You know, if they're in I'd say if they're what, like 25 and up.
25 and up, I think it knows it for sure. I think under 25, it depends on their parents or who they hang with. Because I know some of the friends, some of the folks that we've met on the on the cruises and even now at the concerts have had, they've been younger like mid to early 20s. So I think that's just the older generation, like my generation, sharing it with I have a daughter who's 20. So, she listens to New Kids. She knows who they are. So she's, it's pretty amazing. But so he gave me the microphone and the beat dropped and I just took off. I mean, that's, I just tried to do what I could to get everybody going. And I was so excited, but I was like, oh, I don't know, like, what's the etiquette here? Do I just say a verse and then give him the microphone back, or what do I do, So I kept trying to literally like hand him the microphone back, not because I wanted to, but I just didn't want to seem like a jackass. You know what I mean? Like, oh, here's this guy who doesn't even, we call him up on stage to do like a couple words and he like takes over. Like, what the hell? So, but every time I would try to give it to him, Donnie would be like, no, and push me back, push me back out onto the walkway. I'm like, okay, I mean, I'll keep going, I guess. And so I kept going. And unfortunately I started like really getting gassed. Like I could not catch my breath. I kept, just going and trying to do it, and it just wasn't working out. And then, and you ladies will appreciate this, some random guy shows up on the stage behind me, scared the hell out of me, by the way, in one of those like unitard bodysuit things. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Like I don't know how to describe it. It was all purple. And he looked like Grimace, but there was no...
Yes, it's just like a thing.
It is a thing.
It's like a flash of color.
Exactly. Just like, is that even a human being in there? I can't tell. Of course, he was like 5 foot something, looked like he was, skinny, like an in shape kind of guy. Wasn't like me, poured into the suit. He was, it was form fitting. Let's just say that, form fitting for him.
Hey.
Turns out, of course, it was Mr. White Pants himself. So Mac and Cheese were on the stage, and it was just, I was like freaking out a little bit because I was like, who is this guy? And of course, he stops the whole thing, and then I got off the stage, and to let Joey do his little, he did some kind of weird dance thing that was like, what in the world is this? But you know how he is. Joey has quickly become like my he's quickly become one of my favorites. Donnie will, like you guys always say, we're all Donnie girls.
Right.
But I love Joey. Joey has such a charisma and a sense of humor, and I like all the guys, to be honest with you. I can't really, it's not one that's better than the other. I really think everybody has their own place. Everybody's different, and I love that about them. But needless to say, just going through the process of getting off stage and really realizing what just happened, I'm like, holy crap, I was just on stage with Donnie frickin' Wahlberg, who I used to listen to on the Marky Mark album,
Right.
And,
Is this real life?
Exactly. I was like, this is...
every day.
I laid down in the bed that night. We went to bed, my wife and I. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. Maybe it was a little bit earlier than that. Maybe it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, something like that. We showered first. By the way, Lido Deck Party needs a shower immediately after. So...
I can totally relate to that because, yeah,
it's an exciting and very perspiring situation up there. So,
and if anybody sees me out there, you guys are gonna want to clear a spot. I smell okay. I smell okay, but I'm just like I perspire.
Hey,
you don't stink.
I don't feel like because I've always been self-conscious about that.
You have always been self-conscious,
but like I just have genes that like they're like okay, you're gonna sweat. Like all the time. Even if it's like 30 degrees outside, you're going to sweat.
Right.
Preach
So,
it, sis.
hey,
Preach it. I'm with you.
high five on that one. We'll stick together. Be like, you and I will make eye contact and we'll be like, yeah, I feel you.
Literally stick together because
Yes.
that's. But yeah, so we got back and my wife and I are just laying in the bed, just looking at each other, and I'm just like, I was on stage with Donnie freaking Wahlberg, and she's like, I know, and I'm like, you're the fan. You are here for this group, and I'm here to just be here with you, and I'm the one that got up there and got to spend some 5 seconds with him. It felt like, but of course it was probably like a minute and a half, 2 minutes, but. I was like, wow, that's amazing. I just couldn't have fathomed in my life that I would ever have an opportunity to do something like that. And, the next night, it was like a Halloween type of thing. Or no, it was neon night the next night. So, we got up there and everybody's wearing all these neon colors. And then he calls me up on stage again.
What?
I'm like,
yeah, I know. I was like, this guy's great. I love him.
That's
So
awesome.
I know. So, but they were playing Dirty Dancing off of the
I love that.
the Brock album. So I was like, and this was my jam because I love that song because it's
yes, it's got a great
hold
beat.
on, moment of silence. Patrick Swayze.
Patrick Swayze, you national treasure.
He was a national treasure.
Tu Wong Fu would never be the same without
Oh,
you.
I'm so happy you brought that up.
Tu Wong Fu is like my soul. I
love that movie.
It's gonna make me cry. It's like a beautiful movie.
It really is a beautiful movie.
It really is.
Wesley Snipes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Wesley Snipes, John Leguizamo, and of course Mr. Swayze,
Yes.
and it was great. But Baby was not in that particular film.
That's
but
okay. She didn't get to
Yeah.
carry the watermelon. That's all right.
No.
Oh my goodness. So I got a chance to be up there and sing that song in front of everybody, and I was just like, wow, this is really, really crazy. So again, same thing. We went back to and my wife is just enamored. She's like, oh my gosh, this is 2 nights in a row. And I said, I know, I can't believe it. So the third night, of that particular cruise, was, the costume night. We didn't really bring a costume. I had barely prepared. I wasn't planning on going on this thing to begin with. Finally, show up. So, but the last night, GPS night, he had this, and if you've YouTubed this, it's so much fun. But he brings all a bunch of the guys, he calls them the guys or the husbands or whatever, up onto the stage. And this is the part that really started to turn me with regard to the whole New Kids, Donnie Wahlberg, thing that I was experiencing at that time. Was Donnie made a point to try to make the guys feel like they were part of the equation. And I was like, you know what? I respect that. Because, as a guy being on the cruise, I wasn't a big fan. I really wasn't a fan. Let's just call it what it is. I mean, truth be told, I was not a fan going on.
Call it what you want. That's what you're going to call it.
Call it what you want, baby.
I love it. I love that he's playing along.
But I got up on stage that night with a bunch of the guys, and we were dancing around up on stage, and you guys, Roddy and Jenny, you've heard of Roddy and Jenny.
Yes, we both love them. Yes.
Oh, there's so many people we have met. I could name drop right now all night long.
And I just got to give a quick shout out to Jenny. You know what you did, Jenny. You know what you did. I'm just going to put it like that.
You know what you did. Oh goodness. But I think that's another facet of this whole thing that has become surreal for us is this blockhead family that I didn't really get it the first couple nights. I think when I left that cruise, I still didn't really comprehend it. It was months later. I got a phone. Actually, I didn't get a phone call. I got a text Twitter direct message from a girl who lives actually up in your neck of the woods, Kelly, and she said, "Hey, are you and your wife coming up to the concert in Fenway?
Oh, wait. There's a girl that's like in Maine?
She's actually in Boston.
Oh, okay. I was like, hold the phone.
I don't. You two are the only two that I know that are actually in Maine. So
represent.
Hey, hashtag banger.
Yeah. We can talk about that too. Don't forget about that.
Oh yeah, no, I've been to Bangor. I think you and I spoke about that.
We
briefly.
did. You gave me a picture. Well, you sent me a picture of you in front of Stephen King's house.
I saw that picture.
Ever since I heard that episode, I was like, "Oh, I've been there. I need to send the pics."
Yes, it was awesome. Well, is it okay if we share that on the website?
Of course.
All right,
absolutely.
we're gonna put that on the website.
Yeah, you can see my portly figure, and of course, you can see my beautiful family. And of course, now this is 2012, so it's about 5 years ago, but still, it's still a good pick. But yeah, so this young lady contacted us and said, "Hey, do you guys want to come up here for the Fenway concert?" I was like, "We don't have tickets. It's in Boston. There's all sorts of factors that go into it." Well, this other girl from like Colorado that had flown in had 2 extra tickets, and she couldn't get rid of them. So, just if you can get to Boston, you can go. We were like, well, we're going to go then. So we took our car Saturday morning, and we drove to Boston 6.5 hours, and we just parked the car in a parking garage, and we got changed in the parking garage, which is exciting, and then walked about what felt like 3 miles to Fenway Pack, and that's how they say it. I don't say it like that, but they say it, so I feel like I have to be part of the equation. And I saw my first New Kids concert at Fenway Park, and it was fucking awesome.
Yes. You went up Yawkey Way.
Yes, I did.
Pack.
You had to go to Yawkey Way.
Though you didn't take your car to the pack. You just walked into the pack.
I had to pack my car to go to the pack. Is that crazy? That's what we talking here. But it was amazing because on the way, walking what felt like, again, 3 miles, but it probably wasn't that bad. But on the way there, I ran across people. People were literally flagging us down in the street. Like, "Hey, you were the guy on the cruise." I was like, yeah, hey, I remember you.
That's
and
awesome.
it was great. It was so
wild.
amazing. And that moment is when I started to really get the feeling of family that is shared throughout this fan base. And I felt special. I felt part of, like, hey, I'm part of this now. It's like
yeah, you are special.
See, thanks, ladies. Oh my God. I'm over here just tearing up. But I was amazed at how genuinely kind everybody was, and how it was just, I felt like we could go anywhere and have a great time, and everywhere we went, we met somebody that was like, "Hey, what's going on?" And we're talking. I mean, I speak German, so on the boat, I met a couple of girls from Germany. Shout out to Ayla. And it was like, it's being able to speak with them in their native tongue. They were just like, "Oh, wow." So we hooked up with them while we were at the concert. And of course, Kelly and her friend had hooked us up with the tickets. And then we saw Roddy and Jenny and Amber and Reagan, and just the whole squad was there. And I felt like a reunion. It literally felt, it's amazing. And that's honestly, when they announced the cruise for 2017, I was like, we've got to find a way to get on that boat. I was the one. You know what I mean? You couldn't fly the dollars from my hands in 2016. If it weren't for my wife being the woman that she is, I would not have paid for that original cruise. But this past year, I was trying everything I could to see if we got. It was me that was like, "Hey, we're going on that cruise." And as unfortunate as it was, we were not initially able to procure a position on the cruise, and we were both really distraught about it. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, we're gonna miss it." And all these folks that we got to meet, and it's just, I was like, it's just not the same. I was really disappointed. And it was probably maybe 2 weeks before the cruise that I don't want to be specific about exactly what happened, but let's just say mountains were moved.
Wow.
And boom, we were on the cruise. I mean, it was like literally snap, we were on. And I could not believe it. My heart was just broken, not in a bad way, but with joy. I was just enamored. I could not believe how amazing everything had turned out, that we were now able to go back again. And I was just like, I was so looking forward to it. I wanted to see Jordan, and I wanted to see Joey act like a goofball, and I wanted to, and I felt like I was like, I really started to understand how my wife felt about these guys. Maybe not exactly the same.
But you could kind of relate, and that's really cool,
Exactly. And if you're a guy listening to this and you're like, hey, it's not really cool to be a New Kids fan or whatever, I can introduce you to literally a boatload of guys who go and have a great time. Seti and Roddy and Mark Porter, just so many guys that are huge fans of these guys, and they, you don't really get it until you get it, and then you got it, and I guess that's the only way I can say it. But we have been so fortunate and so blessed to be able to experience all this stuff, and the 2 cruises that I've been on, the concert in Fenway, the time with the guys. Of course, most recently we got a chance to go up to Long Island when Jenny was rolling out her blondies.
Yes.
And, we got
And you got to see Maria there, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
Maria's our girl. Shout out to Maria.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I don't know if you're familiar with some of the security guys, but Vic and Val, the 2 brothers, Val was there. Vic was not, unfortunately, but Val was there, and I got a chance to hang with him. But this was a very unique situation at this liquor store in the middle of Long Island, just sitting there. I mean, if we drove, by the way, 4.5 hours we drove to Long Island, and not because it takes that long to get there, but with the traffic. Oh, my Lord.
Oh, yeah.
But I'd do it again in a minute. It was the most intimate time that I've ever had with Donnie and Jenny ever, period. We got a chance. There was like this room, and you just walked into the room and you got some pics, and Jenny was signing the bottles, and we got a chance to get a hug and some selfies and all that. But it was right then that I started talking with Don. We had a conversation. It wasn't just here, take the microphone and act like an idiot. It was, hey man, what's going on in your life? How you doing? And
that's cool.
It was, I say that with the understanding that I became an official Donnie girl, quote unquote, after I got off the boat the first time, but now I'm a Donnie boy. That's my man's. So, yeah, I would literally punch somebody over Donnie Wahlberg at this point. It's and I mean that in a good, nice way. But I mean, if you said something negative about Donnie Wahlberg, I'd be like, hey, whoa, let's take it outside.
Oh, I'm telling you right now. You say nobody says anything bad about Donnie. Nobody puts Donnie in a corner.
I was just gonna say that.
Man.
We had such a good time, and walking out of there and just having some time with him and Jenny and the hugs and the selfies and just talking and kind of feeling like it just felt like we were buddies. I mean, if Don, and I know Don, and obviously we all know now that Donnie listens to this podcast, but we just got that confirmation. Thanks, Kelly. But yeah, if I ever have an opportunity, I would love to just sit down and have a beer with that guy. You know what I mean? I hope one day to get that opportunity. So, Donnie, if you're listening, Offers on the table. I got some cold brew in my place, but we could go to your place if you'd like. I wouldn't mind that at all. But yeah, so it's been so amazing. But at this point I've officially considered myself a blockhead. So that's where I'm at right now in the whole trajectory of things.
Oh, we love it.
It's awesome.
I love it. Oh man, that is such an amazing story, though.
Well, what I like about it is like we said, it's a different perspective.
Right, exactly.
And we had a little conversation earlier about how, like, wouldn't it be really cool if we could bring our husbands?
Right.
Which is...
They would totally go, but they're in the position where it's like, I mean, obviously for everybody, this is an expense. I mean, the cruise is an expense.
Oh, yeah.
And are you still there?
I am.
Okay, just want to make sure. And
you guys talk.
You're
doing all the talking. I feel rude if I talk now.
Hey, no, please interject. And so we feel like, I mean, my husband has said to me, I said, hey, would you ever go? And he said, this is for you and Brooke. You guys deserve it. You work hard, and that's Kevin for you.
Right.
But if he had the opportunity to go, see, Kevin's pretty tight with his money.
Well, that's...
and Pete is tight with his money.
Yes.
And so neither one of them would... They're very much like you. Like, they wouldn't go unless the opportunity presented itself to them to go. But...
Right.
And
if
if
they
it
were,
did,
like, in a position where they were like...
Right.
I have to go.
Right, exactly. Exactly. But if they went, I think they'd have a blast.
See, I think so too, and I think this is important. And ladies,
bring your husbands.
Yes, or gents, bring your husbands.
Right.
Whoever's listening to this, if your spouse or significant other is like, not my thing, find a friend to go with.
Right.
I think you should have them listen to this.
Right. Yes.
I'm going to say this, and then you'll allow my interjection here. If you're listening to this and you're a fan and your significant other is not, that's where I was. My wife was the fan and I was not. It just literally took her complete and utter devotion to being at these concerts and on these cruises and everything else is what sold me. I'm like, at some point or another, what was I going to do? I mean, you don't fight City Hall,
Right, right.
And I wanted, and again, I mean, if you care about your spouse or your partner or whatever, if you care about them, we all don't do things that we want to do and leave the other person out of it. I watch shows with my wife that you better believe I do not want to watch. But, it's just part of the deal. You know what I mean? She deals with a lot of things with me that she doesn't want to do, but she does it for me because that's part of the deal. And that's why I think, and I'm not trying to turn this into a marriage counseling situation, but that's what's kept our relationship where it has been for 25 years is that, we understand that it's give and take,
Right,
I give a little, she takes a little and vice versa. And I'm telling you, and this is the thing that sealed the deal for me, is every single time I have ever done anything with my wife, up to and including these cruises and the concerts and all, driving to Long Island for 4.5 hours to meet them, all of that, I've never left dissatisfied or disappointed. Never, not
That's
one
awesome.
time.
Aww.
And that is, I think, what underscores it for me. And it's that hindsight that allows me to say, you know what? Yeah, I don't feel like doing this. I don't feel like spending the money. I don't feel like taking the time off of work. I don't feel like trying to make arrangements for the kids and yada, yada. But you know what? I've done this before and I was elated and I was happy about it. I'm doing it again because I know even though I don't want to, it's gonna turn out all roses at the end of the day. And dag nabbit, it just seems to happen every time. So I think it's just a matter of perspective as well. If you go into it with the this is gonna suck and everything's gonna be terrible and all that, yeah, you're probably gonna be dissatisfied and maybe even a little angry that you went. But if you just go with the mindset that, hey, you know what, come hell or high water, I'm here to have a party. That's why I went the first cruise. I just wanted to go to be on a cruise. Never been on a cruise ship before, ever, ever, ever. So I was like, to hell with this New Kids thing. I'm going to go and party and listen to music, and I'm sure they got some shows, something going on. There's a casino there. I mean, I could spend some money in the casino. I mean, there's got to be something to do. So, and it wasn't until I was, for lack of a better term, forced onto the boat, and I did it myself, obviously, but I really had a good time. And like I said, the relationships that have been created subsequent to that have really blossomed. And I love seeing how people are doing and what's going on in their lives. And you hear so many great things that are happening. And of course, you sharing some pain too that people are dealing with. But I mean, isn't that what it's all about? You know what I mean? If you're, family is family, whether it's the one that you were born with or the one that you choose. And I think that, if you go through life with this, I just want to crawl in a hole and, just be my own person and all that. I mean, again, to each his own. I'm not here to knock anybody's decisions, but I just feel like you really suck the nectar out of life when you go and you just go balls to the wall, pardon the expression. But,
that's,
Yeah, well, it all kind of circles back to the community. Like, really this community.
Right.
Is,
right.
Like, guys aside,
yes,
this community is amazing.
It really is. It really, really is.
It's so unique. I find that it's so unique because coming up, I was a big, musically, I liked all sorts of different music. I was a, eclectic kind of guy. I liked the old West Coast rap stuff. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you did.
Montel Jordan and
Woo!
And Dre and all that. I was down with everything. Tupac.
You were down with OPP.
Oh yeah, you know me. But I think that what happened was, I never really connected with any artist or any fan or other groups of fans, even in the 80s. And I'm a little older than you guys, obviously, but in the 80s when the hair bands were all the rage,
I love me some hair bands.
I love me some hair bands.
Okay, well we can definitely discuss hair bands because that's right up my alley. But I mean, I loved Motley Crue and Poison and Skid Row and all those guys, and so I was one of the only guys that you would probably ever meet that had a mixtape that started with Sade, went through to like Poison, and then ended with Dre.
You're my this is my music. You are my people.
Seriously. I had mixtapes like
that. Yes, we were there.
People make fun of me for that.
No. I'm telling you, I used to listen to the show called Positive Vibes. It was on the local college station. People would be like, Nikki, do you know where you live? And I was like, I feel this music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I love it.
I do know what you mean. And, that's the beauty of music is it speaks its own language. And, I really think that it transverses, all of the pity stuff. I mean, you can literally have two people on completely opposite ends of the spectrum, religiously, politically, socially, etc., and they can still dig on some old school funk or some, I love the new kind of stuff that Bruno Mars is doing. I can get down with this new stuff.
I like some Bruno Mars.
Yeah, I love Bruno. I think he's a very talented cat, and but I still love the old school stuff. I still like I still love popping in my unfortunately, I had to try to wait till the kids aren't around too much. But, I still throw in my Dre every once in a while and, and just dig out, or I'll put on my House of Pain and just go to town. And, of course, leaving the first cruise, I had to download the entirety of Music for the People by Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch so I could relive that entire album over again. I haven't shared this, but I will tell you this just briefly. In September of 2016, just prior to going on the very first cruise, my brother passed away. September.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. September 18th, 2016, and he was 39, and which is just
that's young.
Yeah, and this was more part of the reason why when that young girl called me and said, when the young girl, but my wife's friend called me and said, well, I'll go on this cruise with your wife, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to go. I'm going to go, and I'm going to take my wife, and we're going to get away from everything for a little while. We had just dealt with the funeral and and everything else. And, it was very difficult. My brother was very close with my children. And they loved him, and he loved them. And unfortunately, he loved other things a little bit more than he loved people. And, so it was an unfortunate situation, but that was, that first cruise was like an escape for me. And, it was a way for me to just get away from everything. And when Donnie got me up on stage the first time, my brother and I used to drive to school. We drove probably maybe 20 to 30 minutes to school every day. I lived in a different city than my school. And that's another story for another day. But we used to drive to school, and when we would drive to school together, when that album came out, Marky Mark, we used to listen to that album. I can tell you almost every song, every lyric on that album, A and B side. Yes, there were two sides for those of you who think that CDs are the only media.
Right.
And we would just be having the greatest time. And I remember standing up there on that stage the last night, GPS night of the 2016 cruise. Donnie, had these guys up there, and we're all dancing around acting like idiots. And then after the music had stopped, he said, "Hey, do you want to sing something? You want to do something? Do you want to perform something?" And he looked right at me. And there's it's a gaggle of guys. There must have been 20 or 30. You can, like I said, you go on YouTube, it's on there. And
we're gonna find it and post it.
You should. And he handed me the microphone. I said, I want to do Good Vibrations. And he said, wait a minute, you're going to do Marky Mark. I was like, hey, man, I'm going to give it my best shot. And in my mind, I was like, you know what? I said, this one's for you, brother. This one's for you. I'm going to go out there, and I'm going to try to get this crowd going and get this party started, because my brother was a party guy, and it just took me back emotionally and mentally to those mornings, early mornings, driving to school and just cranking out the music and just enjoying it. And I felt like for just 3 minutes, it was like he was there. And I could just imagine him saying, dude, you were on stage with Donnie D.
Yes.
I know.
And you know what? He was there, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter what your belief is, but he was there in your heart, and he was there with you. And I'm sure he's like, holy, what are the chances, man? What, you're up there. What are the chances? And it's music does that for you. It can take you somewhere where you've never been for 30 years. It can take you a place that you really need to be at that moment. Mm-hmm. It's so incredible. And I'm so happy that you had that opportunity to get up on that stage and have that moment. It's really, I'm so happy.
Well, thank you. And I appreciate that. And I'll tell you, again, it was after that night, as things were wrapping up, that I really saw a side of Donnie that really kind of just solidified it for me, as he started just, there's a young girl who was in a wheelchair. He, picked her up out of the wheelchair and off the floor, the deck, and carried her onto the stage by himself. And had the security people carry the wheelchair up there so she could get up on stage with them and dance. She was like wheelchair dancing, if that's a thing. And I mean, he didn't have to do that. He didn't have to physically pick this woman up, but he did. And And then he started to, at the end of the night, started handing out pieces of his, like, the outfits that he wore, like the white pants with BH on the butt cheeks. He's giving those to people. He's giving them shoes and stuff that, like, fans would be like, oh my gosh, and I just saw it as him saying, look, this is, here, just, you know what I mean? This is just stuff, and I want you to have it because I want you to have it and I want you to enjoy it, and I just want you to enjoy life, and I'm happy that you're here, and I just, this past 2017 cruise, I told you, like, mountains were moved for us to get onto that cruise, and we got a chance to sit behind Andrea Barber. We literally sat right behind her in the theater. Kimmy Gibbler, aka Kimmy Gibbler. Shout out to Kimmy. But so I got to meet her, which was cool, and Abby McNair. Well, I know you know Abby, obviously.
I love Abby.
Oh yeah, no. So I got to see her. I didn't really get a chance to meet her so much, but got to see her. She was right beside her. But we're obviously we're familiar with Remember Betty and their organization. But that very first night of the cruise, when they called us, they actually did that New Kids Jeopardy thing. That was like a game show situation, and they brought up a bunch of girls that had been hand selected to participate in the Jeopardy show. You guys would have appreciated it. Joey McIntyre came out in solely a towel. That's all, just a towel. I was like, oh boy, here we go. Donnie actually made the comment. He's like, see, we finally get guys to come on this cruise, and then you guys go and do this kind of crap, and we just lose them. And I was like, I stood up and started clapping, and that's when he saw me, and he says, oh, okay. And it was later on, they had, quote, had a tie, which really wasn't a tie, but they had a tie in the game. So they did a lip sync battle. And that's, I'm sure you've probably seen that lip sync battle, which I did not
I haven't actually.
Oh, another one that I'll send it to you. That one's,
right.
That one's actually.
I think I have seen that one.
You've
it's
seen
good.
That one?
Yeah.
Well, he because he came up to me, I came up on the stage, and he said, hey, what did you do last cruise that really got people like going? I said, well, I did Jump Around, and I did Good Vibrations. And he said, well, do Jump Around. I said, okay, fine. Whatever. You're Donnie. You call the shots. I just do what I'm told. And,
you're the boss.
Yeah, exactly.
You are the captain.
Donnie's the captain. Get your asses strapped in.
Yeah, Donnie, take the wheel. You do that.
Donnie, take the wheel. See, I was going back to Block Party, and you just took it a whole nother direction.
Donnie, take the wheel. And then
Donnie, take the wheel.
And that's
we got a hashtag that with Kelly Mo. There's your hashtag.
There is our cruise shirts.
There we
Donnie, take the wheel.
Take the wheel. Amen to that, sister. I love it. But I took the mic and I did not at all do a lip sync. I just started doing my thing again. Because I love to entertain people. It's part of what I love it. I love being on stage and having a good time and getting people, just going. And it's just one of the things I enjoy. So, and if you watch the video, which I know, Brooke, I think you said you saw it up, but Nikki,
yes.
If you had, then, it's really crazy because when I start, the guys just like lose it. You can just see them just like fall out. It's hysterical. Jordan almost falls over. And Donnie literally like sprints across the stage. It was hysterical. And after the thing was over, because he makes the comment, it was called Lip Sync for Life, not steal the whole fucking show from the New Kids for Life. I was like, okay, well, my bad. I was just trying to get everybody pumped up. So, but after the thing, and then, do you guys know Caleb?
No. And sorry, Caleb, if you're following us.
No. Well, when I say no, I mean you may be familiar with him, but
we don't know a whole lot of people yet.
That's okay. Okay. I didn't either, and I feel like I know like a whole lot of people, which is cool. But Caleb came up and he started doing his thing, and of course he crushes it every time. This guy, he's so funny and so amazing. If you ever get a chance, you definitely take a look at that Jeopardy, NKOTB Jeopardy from this past cruise. You'll see Caleb, and he is amazing. So afterwards, Donnie, come up to me afterwards, and he just gives me a high five, and he hugs me, and he he's got me in like this hug, and I said, hey man, thank you, thank you for everything. And he pulls back and he says, what? I said, thank you. He goes, dude, don't say that. I was like, well, why? I mean, I was just trying to be polite. He's like, no, thank you. He says, I'm glad you're here. I'm just glad you're here. And to have Donnie Wahlberg say that to you, oh my gosh. I mean, I was just crushed. Yeah, no, it was amazing. I mean, but it shows you his heart. That guy, I'm telling you, I don't know how much more I can get across to anyone in the world. Donnie Wahlberg is the realest guy ever in the world. He literally is just so genuine, and I just appreciate that so much about him. And if you leave with anything today, Donnie Wahlberg for president. There you go. Hey. I said it. He said it.
Hashtag.
Let's get this party started.
Amen.
Yeah.
So there it is. But yeah,
I'm speechless because, I mean, first of all, Donnie Wahlberg is just, like you said, he just gives and gives and gives and gives and gives and keeps giving pieces of himself and literally pieces of himself.
Yes.
And I just look at it and think, oh, he gives so much, you just don't think that he can like outdo himself.
Right.
And then he does.
Right.
And then he does it again. And 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 it's like, it's just crazy. I'm speechless because there are no words for me to describe how I feel about Donnie Wahlberg. I
would get in the car and drive hours and miles, hundreds or thousands of miles, literally, to I would, like I said, if he called me today and said, hey, look, I'm in Denver, Colorado. Can you come here and have a sandwich with me? I would drive 23 hours straight to sit in a chair and eat a hamburger, a Wahlburger to be specific.
Yum.
Yeah, with him. Because he's just that kind of guy. He just makes you feel special. And that's what makes him special, is the way he makes you feel. And I think that's what does it. He just lights a spark in you when his eyes connect with you. And I know, it's, I'm just saying this is on like a completely platonic plane. He's just a cool guy. I love him. Donnie, if you're listening, and I know you are, I love you, brother, and that's how I feel about it. So
Donnie,
there it is.
Donnie, if you're listening, let's just get back, hang out, and we'll tell you. I can't. Now I'm nervous.
Don't be.
Because he's listening?
Yes.
Don't.
Donnie's listening. And you know what? Hey, Donnie.
Now he knows it. He knows all now. I mean,
Donnie does know. He misses nothing.
He doesn't miss anything, and he told us.
He did tell us.
He literally told you.
He literally did, and I was like, oh, that's a whole other discussion.
Yep.
But Brandon, we appreciate you so much coming on and talking to us and, just telling us
just your perspective, your stories. Because you have a lot to say for being a fan for such a short amount of time. And it's awesome because you've experienced so much.
I know. It's blowing my mind. I cannot comprehend all of the events that have transpired. It's like you were meant to be. This whole time you were meant to be a blockhead, and
you didn't know it.
You didn't know it.
I didn't. I was unaware. As a matter of fact, I was the anti-blockhead for a while, and now I'm like, I'll like I said, I would go to the ends of the earth. So yeah, absolutely. It's and I will say this, and I really appreciate the opportunity. You girls do such a great job with bringing folks on here to tell their stories. And for anybody who has listened to your broadcast here, or podcast as it were, you bring folks on here who tell funny stories and amazing stories and heartbreaking stories, and but always with the common thread of, a sense of community, a sense of family. And I really think that that's to both your credit. And I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you reaching out and giving me an opportunity to just share a little bit. Because, if there's one thing, it's like the day that we left the Long Island signing with Donnie and Jenny, I was driving back across the GWB and I said, I would I told my wife, I said, I would shout from the highest mountaintops that I'm a New Kids. I have no shame, in it at all, because these are good people. There's nothing wrong with them. And if there's one thing I could say just as a general statement, is that on behalf of me and every other jerk guy out there who prejudged a bunch of teenagers from Boston back in the 1980s, I apologize. I should have never been so presumptive to think that these guys were just a bunch of, ruffians from the wrong side of the tracks. And that was totally my bad. And if I could take it back and make it something different, I would. But I don't have a DeLorean, so I'm just gonna day one. You know what I mean? Day one. So I can change it today and moving forward. And I just want to share how much I appreciate you all and this community and all the people that I've met and really very specifically the guys in the band. They're just really solid people.
Well, we appreciate all your kind words, number one.
For real.
Thank you.
And we're right on the same page with you.
Yep.
All those boys in 5th grade, you know what you did.
All those boys in 5th grade, no, they're not.
6th grade,
They're not.
7th grade.
They're not new skids on the dock.
No, they're not.
You know what they are?
You know what? You deserve a punch in the face.
They are. They are. I'll agree with every word of that.
So
now, back in 5th or 6th grade, I would have been like, yeah, whatever. But today is a different day. That's true. So.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to have you come on again, and this time bring Barbara on.
Yeah.
Oh, she would have. Oh my goodness gracious! You have no idea. My wife. You think I can talk?
Well, it's a date. It's a date.
Yes.
Don't be late.
That's for them. I won't. Girl is gonna. Never mind. I can't say that. I gotta wait. I gotta wait. Can't be late. Hey.
So thank you for all the support.
For real.
We really appreciate it. There are some times, we've talked about it, that we just think, hey, are we the only ones listening to this?
Nope.
But it's people like Brandon
Yes.
that remind us.
Right. And we're like,
No,
whoa.
we're not.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's keep getting this party started.
Right.
Well, hey, I do want to say, and I know I've said it to you guys privately and through Twitter and whatnot, but Kelly Mo is if you, and I know she's listening because she's going to hashtag the mess out of this thing, but
She will.
Oh, you know it, Kelly. You know what you did.
yes. Hashtag tuna purist, but I am a tuna purist. I can't help it. I don't like.
I hear ya.
Hey, Brooke hears you on that, and as do I.
Loud and
I do
clear.
not want any celery or any pickles or relish in my tuna, please. Thank
No.
you. Pass. Hard pass.
Hard pass.
Yeah. And no Miracle Whip, damn it. That's
Yes.
not mayonnaise.
No,
It's salad
don't you
dressing.
dare
It
put
says it
any
right
friggin'
on the
Miracle Whip in my sandwich.
Don't put it anywhere in my house.
No.
You bring Miracle Whip in my house, we're fighting.
That's it. You know where
You're
it's going?
out.
You know where it's going? In the snowbank.
It's no, and there's plenty of it right now. So,
Yes,
yeah.
that is the truth.
But yeah, but I think girls like Kelly and you've got a whole, obviously, and now that you've got a really large community of people that really appreciate what you ladies do, and I think that's to your credit, and just keep doing such a wonderful job and keep bringing these folks on here that can tell their stories and just share. It's really I enjoy it. I love connecting my phone to my my Bluetooth to my car and I just dial it up on my because I have an Android phone, so I just dial it up on the website and boom, there she goes, and I got to hear Jenny's story just recently. That was so great. That was amazing. I love to hear a little story.
We love Jenny. We love all the Jennies.
all of them. Every
We
one of them.
found there's a lot of Jennies.
There are a lot of Jennies.
So
Almost too many, one might say. But,
this one goes out to all the 8675309 Jennies. This is for you. We love you all, Jennies.
Oh, boy.
All right. Well, thanks again, Brandon. We
Thank
really
you so
appreciate
much.
it. And,
Thank you.
we can't wait to see you on the cruise, man.
Yeah.
And yes, definitely. We'll make sure that we make plans to be there.
Oh, yes.
Awesome.
Oh, yes.
True that.
Thank you. And we're gonna close. So
Yeah.
it's been real. And we'll have you on again.
Yeah. Thanks for
With
joining
Barbara.
us. We love it.
All right. Bye.
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 So, Brandon, huh?
Oh.
And Brooke didn't know I was recording.
I had no idea.
Now,
Now,
if you don't know, now you
I
know. I like that saying.
That was great. Brandon.
You are a national treasure.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
We loved having you on, and we hope to have you on again soon.
Yes.
So,
We hope to see you on that cruise.
yeah. I think we will see him on the cruise.
Yeah, well, I'm just nervous. I'm just nervous overall.
You're nervous?
Yeah, I just want to make sure I get a cabin. I'm so nervous.
That's why I'm nervous to buy flights before we get a
That's
cabin.
true. That's true. Tonight we looked at flights. And we found some sweet deals.
But like,
But you know what? If we don't end up getting a cabin, you know what we can do? Let's just go down.
that would be. Do you know how sad that would be?
Do you think it would be heartbreaking? Bye, bon
Yeah,
voyage.
but we'd be on the shore side,
Aw.
waving. Peace out. Have fun.
Wish we could be there.
And then we're in Miami. No offense, Miami.
Welcome to Miami.
Bienvenido a Miami.
Miami.
But like, here's the thing. I don't want to hang out in Miami for a few days.
Well, you don't have to.
Where would we go?
I don't know.
So
We'd find something to do.
I think we're gonna get a cabin though. I feel good.
I feel like we should still get those tickets. What are your thoughts on the situation?
Mixed. Very mixed. But they should. I mean, February is what they're saying.
Right.
That's right around the corner.
I just yawned, sorry.
I'm probably going to in a moment.
Yes.
At this moment in time.
I've had a long weekend.
Been a long week.
And we just needed to catch up about it.
Yes. It's like it never happened.
So we have some housekeeping.
Yeah.
So we just want to put it out there that we really appreciate you sending stories. If we haven't read your story yet, it absolutely doesn't mean that we're not going to read it.
Right.
But we just want to let you guys know that we ask for more stories because there are times where we'll one sitting, and you guys have listened, we'll read like 3, 4, 6 stories. And then there are weeks that we get 0. Sometimes 2 weeks we get 0 stories.
Right.
We just don't want you guys to think we've forgotten about you. You know, if you're just wondering, did they get my story? Feel free to email us
And we'll
and
confirm.
ask, and we'll confirm.
Right.
I know there have been times where people have sent it through other mediums, and as we've gotten more stories, it's been difficult to make sure that we keep a hold of all of the different stories. So if you sent it through another medium and we didn't read it, feel free to reach out too.
Right.
We don't want that to look as irresponsible either, but it is hard. That's why we do say, please send them through email, because it's hard to
Email's
keep track.
very easy for us to track.
Exactly.
And to organize.
Exactly.
Whereas, like, social media, you guys know.
Yeah.
Like, with Twitter and, like, Facebook, Instagram.
If you get, like, a ton of messages, it's like, oh, crap.
And, it's not, it's just, it's hard to follow.
Right.
So, like, email's always best.
Right.
That way we'll make sure that we see it.
Exactly. So please don't hesitate to email us and say, hey, did you get my story? We don't mind.
Nope, not at all.
So we don't mind confirming that for you.
Correct.
So with that being said, please send us your stories.
Yes.
Also, feel free to send us your thoughts about an episode. If you liked an episode, if you didn't like an episode.
We want to
hear
that
it.
feedback.
Yeah.
Is very helpful for us. We want to make sure that we're creating, a podcast that you will continue to enjoy.
Because this is your podcast.
Constructive criticism.
Right. Your podcast, not just our podcast. This is your podcast too.
It's your community.
Right.
It's everyone's community.
Right.
So We want to keep that going and growing.
Yeah.
And whatever feedback you have for us, feel free to email it to us. We'd love it.
That would be fantastic. You got a topic you want us to cover? Email it. We got a couple this weekend. They were fantastic topics.
Yep.
Thanks, Jerusha.
And if you want to send us... What was I going to say?
I don't know. If you want to send
80s
us...
and 90s stories.
Oh, yes.
It does not have to be New Kids on the Block. This is Block Party, yes.
Welcome to the Block Party.
But hey, if you...
We're not leaving out nobody, so...
That's right. If you listen to the 80s and 90s episodes on Mondays and you want to contribute, you want to send us a story.
You got a pogo ball story?
I loved my pogo ball. Remember Lolo balls? Remember the Lolo balls?
No.
I had one, and
those
it was
the tiny
my
ones?
favorite. They were a little bit smaller and a little bit flatter.
Oh.
But it had a good, like, feel under your feet. I had one of those, and I had a pogo ball blaster.
What'd that do? Go higher?
It was, like, a little bit bigger and a little bit more rugged. It was kind of like polar opposites, actually.
I wonder if I got on a pogo ball today, if I'd pop it.
I wonder if I got on a pogo ball today, if I would even know what to do. I think I would. I think it's like riding a bike.
I think so, too.
I might pop it.
Nah.
The Lolo ball, for sure. Because even as, like, a kid, I remember it kind of bottoming out. Because it was like, you know when you'd get going on a pogo ball and it would, like, flap on the ground?
Oh, yeah.
Definitely did that. But it had a good, like, feel.
I feel you, Flo.
So, yeah, you got a pogo ball story? Great.
You know?
Or a Lolo ball.
Or a Sony Walkman story.
Or a strawberry shortcake.
Yeah.
You like that cereal? Because I surely did.
Or did you have a favorite computer program? Paint Shop. Oregon Trail. I talked to people this weekend at work about how they pronounce that. And they said Oregon. But I said, well, how do you say it when you say
the game?
At trail? And they all said Oregon. Well, not all of them. A couple of them said Oregon.
Yeah.
Why do we say Oregon Trail? Why don't we say Oregon Trail?
I don't know.
I bet Christine says Oregon Trail.
I'd be really interested to hear what Christine says.
Is that how she says it? Oregon?
I don't know.
Or Oregon?
Like
Oregon.
Like Oregon?
Oregon?
I don't know. How do I say it?
I always said Oregon.
I don't say it very often.
I always said it was Oregon.
Portland, Oregon? I say Oregon. Because...
I always said Portland, Oregon.
Portland, Oregon.
No, I said Oregon. Portland, Oregon.
Yeah.
Why would I say Oregon Trail?
I say Oregon Trail. I don't say Oregon Trail.
Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? I don't know.
Did you watch that show?
Did you play that game?
I did not play the game. I didn't know it was a game, but I knew it was a TV show.
Played it in 3rd grade.
On PBS. And I generally didn't watch it.
I used to, for some reason, they would pull me out of class and I'd go play Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego in 3rd grade.
Was it GT?
No, probably. I don't know how I got into that thing.
So...
Because as you guys know...
Did you watch Ghost Rider?
Yes.
Ghost Rider!
That had Ellie in it from Pet Sematary.
Yes, it did.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched that,
or
and I think...
one of them. Maybe it was both of them. Maybe it was just one of them. She's a twin.
Oh, yeah. I think it was just one of them.
Yeah.
I used to watch Ghost Rider, and after that was Carmen Sandiego. So it would, like, sometimes still be on, but I didn't really watch it. But remember the guys that, like, sang?
Yeah. They're like a barbershop quartet.
Like a doo-wop group or something. Yeah. I don't know.
Yep.
I didn't really care for them that much.
I used to be in this little club called Navigators.
The Navigators?
Yeah.
Where was that?
It was in fourth grade. I was in this club with all the other boys in my class called Navigators.
What did you do?
We found stuff on map. We did some geography. It was a geography. It was like, find the Nile. I loved it. Find the Strait of Gibraltar.
Do you remember The 11th Hour?
Remember?
The book?
No.
The 11th Hour?
Well, it sounds familiar. Was it one of those
Animalia?
Was it one of those fold-out books? I love those. Remember the Postman books? You get the letters and take them out.
Nikki.
I love those
and Abe
so
Lincoln,
much. Yes.
There was like a list, like a waiting list for it.
I love that
That was
book.
my favorite book. Can I tell you, I've looked for the name of that book and looked for like that. I want to buy that book. And
We
I
need to
don't remember
find
what it
it.
was called.
It had little letters in it.
Yes.
You'd pull
like
them out.
each page was like an envelope and it was different.
Yes.
And you could open it up and there was a little letter in there, like a card or a note.
Yes.
And it was a very, very hot commodity at an elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
And I want that book. I literally, seriously should ask Sadie's librarian.
You should.
She'll know.
I bet she will, because I bet it's still a hot commodity.
I seriously would
I bet the
love that
kids
book.
lost some of those letters. Those
I bet
kids.
they did. Stinking kids. So, no, The 11th Hour
Mm-hmm.
and Animalia. I have both of them. Like, I have copies at home. They were like puzzle books. Literally in 5th grade, kids used to sign up to stay inside at recess to play these books, to like do these books. There were like clues within the pages to solve like the puzzle.
Oh my gosh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes.
And at the very back of the book, there was like a secret like pages that have the answers that was sealed.
Yes.
And those, like, I loved those books
I
so
won
much.
one of those books. Like, I won one.
You did?
Yes. Can't remember how I won it. I'm trying to think of it. But, like, I think we had the same kind of club.
It was, like, we'd stay in at recess and
Mm-hmm.
do this. And I loved them so much. Like, my mom remembered that. So when I had Sadie is very much too young for these books right now,
Mhm.
but in a few years, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
But my mom bought them for me so that I'll have
Aw.
them for her when she's old enough. And can I just say, I can't wait. I can't wait.
That was like me and Choose Your Own Adventure books.
I didn't get into those.
I was all about the Choose Your Own Adventure books.
So, hey guys, if you have any stories about any of this type of stuff,
Yeah, maybe we should have an episode on special books.
maybe we
Kinda
should.
just did it, but I have other ones, like my Dr. Seuss.
I have other ones.
All About Me book. I have one for Bryn and one for Brody, and they've never filled it out, and I feel bad. Because you're supposed to fill it out when you're little.
Oh,
Actually,
adorable.
I think Bryn did fill it out.
it's like Sadie's baby book. I did really good the first year.
I did really good on Bryn's. Brody has like 2 pages.
Aw.
Poor thing. But they're funny. Because he was a funny baby.
So, all right,
Yeah.
we'll wrap it up.
Yeah. So
But-
send us your stories. Send
Yeah.
us your stories.
We had a great episode.
And if we haven't read yours, we'll be reading it shortly.
That was good.
Did you like that?
That was a nice flow.
Yeah. Feel me flow. All right. So,
Peace out.
peace out until the next episode.
Monday.
Yes. So, have a great Wednesday.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.